So, Dee, thank you for making time. I'm going to do a quick intro.
Okay.
You know what? Yes. So, Dee, we're going to just jump right into it. Let me ask you a question. Tell me about a project, experience, or accomplishment that you consider to be the most significant in your life.
Well, that's easy. The conception of my daughter. No, you weren't expecting that one, but it really does represent the creation process for everything, because it took me 6 years. All the specialists, right, in Los Angeles told me I would never have a baby. And I said, well, God and I have a different plan. I was very clear that I was going to have this baby. I was committed to having this baby. I did everything action-wise that it took, including acupuncture, which ultimately was the answer that helped me get pregnant. And I held on to my focus and my belief around what I wanted to create, no matter what anybody else said to me or denied me. I held on to what I was going to create. Took me 6 years, but she's almost 30 now. And my best friend and the greatest joy in my life. So I didn't know then how to consciously create.
I love it. I love it. And I think it's right. The next question, I think it then matches exactly this answer you just gave me, because my question to you is, what has always been with you? Think of a common denominator, behavior, belief, or maybe even resource that if you look back, you realize you've always had this. Maybe you didn't realize you had it.
I would have to say love and joy for life. I just, that's why one of my books is called Bright Light. My dad used to call me his bright light. And I was born into a family that had a lot of tragedy. He was an alcoholic, committed suicide. I've had a lot of loss early in my life, but I always had that love and that knowing inside of me that allowed me to bounce back and move back into my joy no matter what. And tenacity. And I also have to say naivete. I am a big believer in naivete. A lot of people put it down, but you know, when you're naive, you believe everything's possible. And we can only create what we believe is possible, right? So I never gave up that belief that that baby was possible for me. And you know, I work with a lot of people on creating money. And when I ask them, okay, how much do you want this year? They can't tell me. They just want more money. But they want more money from the vibrational place of lack. Well, you can't ever get what you don't love. Let me say that again. You cannot get what you don't love. So if you want a healthier body, your job creatively is to feel into health and wellness and the magnificent freedom when you have energy. And if you don't have enough money now, your job is to feel and keep experiencing the joy of having money, because that's what the universe responds to. So at the beginning of this year, as you know, I made an intention that I was going to do a TED Talks. I've wanted to do a TED Talks for 3 years. Wanted to is not creating an intention to do it. I want to be clear about that. So in January, I said, this is the year. I'm doing a TED Talks this year. And I had worked with you, last year on how to create a TED Talks. I love the little booklet that you have, that you created for everybody. Was a great guiding post for me. Took some of your classes, worked with you individually. And then I'm a performer, I'm an actor. I know how to connect with the audience. What's always my wall is taking it out there and saying, I'm really great enough to do this, will you hire me? That's why we have agents and managers when we're actors. So then I came to you and I said, this is really what I need you to help me do, Dolores. And I think it was 1 month and we had booked one. So thank you, my friend. But again, I want everybody to understand, I had to create that intention. I had to commit to that intention. And then that commitment, I'm doing it no matter what, brought me to you, created us working together, created me writing it, you guiding me through some rewrites and stuff, creating all the documents we had, getting all my film of my speaking together. Then you follow through with the action. I think so many people in the spiritual plane don't get the action part. And it's very difficult to follow through in the action when you haven't made the commitment. You have to commit to having that baby, right?
I love it, because I think you mentioned the word, that one of the things that have been with you all along is the knowing.
Yes.
So
yes.
What does knowing feel like?
That's a good question. What it feels like. That's a really important question, Dolores. It feels exciting and it feels powerful. And when you truly know what you want and you commit to it, it's crazy, but it's true that the universe goes, oh, I just heard her. And everything starts coming to you. And you also are infused with the passion and the energy to follow through. That's what knowing does for you. And, a lot of my work is based on the I am principle. Whatever you say after I am is literally a direction to your energy that has to be followed and created. So every time you say, oh, I don't know what I want, all the universe can give you back is more not knowing what you want. You have to start, I know what I want. I'm allowing myself to feel, going to my heart, getting out of my mind and going to my heart so I can feel what I really, 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 really want. And I wanted that baby. And I wanted my baby TED Talk. And I wanted my baby increasing my financial life this year, which is exploding. And just all of it's got to start with us. And that's the most important message I can give to. it has to start with you. Most of us spend our lives going, well, can you help me? And you're the fault I can't. And you might be able to help me, and you're the fault I can't. Instead of going, I'm doing this, it's nobody's fault if I haven't done it before. It's nobody's fault if I'm not going to do it right now. I have to claim it. I am doing this now. And then universe, come on in and work with me and play with me, and let's do it together.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, people know you. Well, some people know you for this work, and we're going to talk about that in 1 minute. And then people know you as an actress, right? The mom of E.T. and all the amazing roles with, 120, 130 movies you've been in your career. But tell me about this work, because this is the work that really fuels you. So tell me about how you make this kind of impact. What kind of process or in what kind of way do you help people walking this knowing, commit, take personal responsibility, and then just see how what you're saying is how the universe rearranges around them to enable this?
If there's anything that I have going for me, Dolores, I'm real. And I call it like it is. And I don't BS. And I use my own challenges to teach with. If people won't take self-responsibility for their own creation, they don't come to work with me. Because I'm all about love, but I'm about tough love. And I will call you on it every time, as I call myself on it. And as a lot of my viewers and listeners call me on it when I fall out. And I love that about our community, that we encourage each other to take responsibility and powerfully be our own creators, our own gods, because we are the God of us. Nobody can choose a thought for us that we don't want and we don't accept. They can't make us take an action that we don't want to do. They can't hold an intention for us or keep our focus for us. All of those things are paramount for the creation process. And we're responsible for every one of them.
I love it. So, you started as a grade school teacher back in Kansas with the dream of being an actress. And then you launched your acting career. And with time, you combined that career, which is still in full bloom, with this kind of teaching, which it's probably still grade school teaching, but a very different kind of role as a leader and as a teacher. What called you to this work, Dee?
Well, I've always been spiritually inclined. I come from a religious Methodist church background, but even when I was little, I would be getting messages. I didn't know that's what was happening then. Like one time in the middle of the night, I woke my mom up and I said, something's wrong at Grandma's house. We have to go over there. And she said, well, honey, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning. I said, Mommy, we have to go to Grandma's. And God bless my mom. She got up out of bed. We went over to Grandma's. Well, the cat had gotten up on the stove and turned on, with her paw, turned on the gas. And so the house was filling up with gas. And those were back in the days, nobody had cell phones or anything. So Grandma's phone was way far away from her bedroom. She would have never heard the phone. And so I always kind of got messages like that. And then I kind of put it away when I got older. And then I met Christopher Stone, my husband, and he was very involved in a process called conceptology, which was really the first teachings of how to create your life that had been downloaded in like the 1930s. So we would go down twice a month to a study group for conceptology, which I believe ignited all those things from my childhood that I started to remember and the opening up. And then I found my acting teacher, Charles Conrad, and he taught a method where you actually channel the character, which I didn't know at the time. I wouldn't say, oh, we channel our characters in here, but that now that I'm channeling, that's exactly what we were doing. People would start walking with a limp, and we didn't ever know where our material came from. And Charles would go, what? You're not supposed to do any scenes you've done before. You've seen this scene before. And I said, Charles, I haven't. He said, then how do you know she's a cripple? Weird stuff like that happened every day in our class. And then Christopher died, and I fell to my knees and I said, I want a way we can heal ourselves. And like that, I got my first message, which was use the light within you to heal yourself. And I've been expanding and understanding that now for almost 30 years.
This is a strange question. You could say you have two jobs, but I suspect you only have one job. It's just two kind of different places.
Yeah, it's all about bringing the truth in, all of it. I mean, I just had a beautiful guest star on NCIS, and it was a very emotional part. And the director the first day said, okay, Dee, what do you want to achieve in this part? And I looked at him and said, the truth. I want to be emotionally truthful in every moment with this character. I want to be emotionally truthful in my life. And I want to be emotionally truthful in my channeling. Now, that being said, it's very difficult to do that if you allow yourself to live in doubt. As soon as you go into doubt, you start doubting, gosh, are the messages I'm getting from the channel, am I hearing this right? Is it me? Is it really coming through is this the highest thing? And in acting, it's the same thing. Oh, let me doubt myself. I don't know if I can get there emotionally. So let me work it out in my mind so that I have all the beats worked out and all this. That doesn't allow you to be in the moment and the emotion of the character. And so the more I got into my healing work, the more I realized I was doing the same thing in my acting and vice versa. And then I realized, oh, that's what I should do in my life.
It's interesting because you are channeling my questions, by the way. Because my next question was going to be, what are some of the myths or challenges that people have when trying to live in this way? And you just named it, self-doubt, right?
Yes, and fear. Dolores, we're just taught so much fear to be right and be socially acceptable and not hurt people by telling the truth. We're indoctrinated around that from the time we're born, really. And we all come in as these bright lights, and then everybody says, could you turn your light down a little, please? Because it's a little hard for the world to handle, right? And our job, of course, is to go, that would be a no. This is who I am. And I'm going to shine as brightly as I can in this world while I'm here. I teach a lot, which is what my TED Talks is on, about how the little child and our adult self are in conflict with each other. And I can pretty much guarantee you that if you're having blocks in your life as an adult and you can't understand why you can't push through, go back to your little child, age 7, back through conception. See what you were verbally taught, see what was modeled in front of you, and try and get in touch with what you erroneously have put together by that age. Because our little kids are pretty much running the show.
In some of our conversations that came up, that it was your realization of your first 7 years that really got you into your own healing, because as you became more of a very well-known actress, especially after E.T., there was an overwhelming kind of reaction to that success all of a sudden, right? Some people talk about fear of success, and people say, oh, that's not a thing. Well, that's very much a thing.
Well, it's very much a thing if you were taught your whole life, don't ask for too much. You should only have what you need. Don't ever say how great you are. And so E.T. came out, and everybody was going, oh my God, what a great actress you are. I'm caught, because my little girl is saying, no, say no. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Which is egotistical in itself, right? And so I could feel myself pulling back and back. Don't see me, it took me years. People would come up to me and go, oh my God, you're a movie star. And I went, well, I'm an actress. I just couldn't claim it because my little girl couldn't own that. If you're a good little girl and you're a meek little girl, God loves you and society loves you. So you can't be too powerful. And so here I am in the most powerful film pretty much of all time, right? And those things were just combusting inside of me between what I wanted and what I had achieved and what my little girl would allow me to own and celebrate.
And without, if we're not aware of it, it can hurt us. We can self-sabotage and hurt our accomplishments or our success if we really let that child run the show.
Absolutely. There's no other way. You're either going to be able to push through, and then your own joy or your accomplishments are going to be watered down or compromised somehow until all of you is integrated toward what you want.
Well, you already gave us a little bit of a preview of this question, but I want to hear a little bit more. What are you super excited or looking forward to this 2018 and into 2019?
My life. I'm looking forward to everything I can create. I mean, this year's been, I want to say unbelievable, but I believe it because I created it. I've done 5 films this year, 2 guest star roles. I've had to audition for 1 of those. That's pretty much unheard of in my business. I'm looking forward to keep that going, to doing even bigger. films, and to expanding my healing community. And it just, I can do the healing work, Dolores, 24/7. Never get tired. It just finding the truth and seeing what happens with other people when they realize that it's been them all along, and it's easy now to get that part of them redirected so that they can live the powerful life. There's nothing better than witnessing that and being a part of it. You know, you do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, your TEDx. When is the date and location?
The date of my TEDx is October, I'm looking at the calendar, 14th. October 14th in Cape May.
I'm so excited, so looking forward to that. So one of the things we're building is a Daring TV library. And so if there was one book, and it could be one of your books, if there was one book you would want us to add to our library, what should our followers be reading?
Oh dear. Well, it would be a toss-up between Conscious Creation, which is my first book, totally channeled, and Bright Light, which is kind of my autobiography. It takes you through all the films and the great directors that I've worked with. And through it, I discuss all the spiritual lessons that I've learned that apply to the creation process.
So we'll definitely add both of them. And last question, where can people get to know you better, follow you, hang out with you?
All over Twitter and Facebook and all that. And my website, which you all should check out if you want more information about what we've talked about. I am DeeWallace.com. I am claiming who I am, baby. I am DeeWallace.com, and there's a lot of free stuff there for you to look at. And if you go into the store, there are amazing programs and webinars about every single subject you want to expand your life in.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think we have mastered the tech issues that we were having today. And thank you, Dee, for your time today. And I can't wait, and I will share with the world your talk once it comes live. But I am so excited for the rest of your year as well.
Thank you. And you too, baby. Thanks for all your help.